888-878-0097.
BuckheadLaserLipo.com.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today our guest is Angela Ellington. She's CEO of RTG Research Laboratories and a manufacturer of the Moistura Silk hair brand. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Yes. We have got so much to talk about because I'm very curious about, how you started this company and what, just kind of, because I'm an entrepreneur myself, and so I kind of know some of the highs and lows of getting something started, but I can't imagine what it must be like to develop your own product line and to kind of go through the experience of that. So I really look forward to digging into some of that, during the show. But first and foremost, I wanted to ask you, first of all, how did you get involved in this industry to begin with?
Actually, I got involved in this industry right out of college. So This is my 31 year.
Wow.
In the industry. I started out as a chemist and worked up to assistant vice president for L'Oreal. And after that 28th year, I felt like it was time to do it for myself and to come back home. I am from Georgia.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, wow, that's great. So what's interesting is that I never thought, and I don't know if a lot of people think when they go to college in the sciences to get into cosmetic science. Is that a commonly known field?
No, and that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. Because actually, when I went to college for biology pre-med, and minored in biochemistry. And after doing a couple summer sessions at the hospital, I realized it's not just about the academics that determine your career, because I was emotionally upset every day after working, specifically the summer where I worked in the neonatal care. And you saw babies die every day, and you saw how babies were born. And so I took a different direction and ended up in cosmetic science, not because I was well-diverse or knew a lot about the subject matter, but because I happened to be, as they say, in the right place at the right time. And that door opened, and the rest was history.
Wow, I love it. So was cosmetic science a specific major, or was that just kind of...
Didn't know anything about it, which is quite interesting because we've been using shampoos and conditioners and hairdress forever.
And where it comes from.
And you really just don't think about it. You just think how well you like it, or what you're using it for.
Wow. Okay. Well, I've got lots of questions, and so we're going to learn more about this. Because again, these products are things that we don't really think about the origin of, and so I'm excited to learn more about that. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
George.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, so trending topics, and I think the probably the most appropriate to bring up here, and this has been trending heavily. I mean, I was at work on Monday, and I come home, I'm teaching class, and all of a sudden I see this firestorm on social media, on Facebook, about this hair company, Shea Moisture, which I'm very familiar with Shea Moisture. I actually love their products. I have locks, so there's a limit to, what I use, but I guess I had to watch the commercial because there was a lot of fury over a commercial that was, it featured definitely more white women than black women. There was a black woman who was possibly mixed race, and the rest of the women in the commercial were white women. The black women that I know of that are really upset about this are upset because their perception is that Shea Moisture is a company for black hair, for black women, and they presented the experiences of white women in the sense that of hair hate. So when black women historically talk about hair hate, they're talking about it from a standpoint of oppression, and we've been taught to hate our hair, and we've been we've been conditioned to think that our hair needs to be different. In presenting white women in the video to talk about hair hate, a lot of black women were upset because they said they don't know anything about hair hate. This is not our experience. This is a very different perception of hair hate. This is not what our experience is. And so there was a lot of anger. There was talk of boycotting. There was talk of, all kinds of stuff with regard to Shea Moisture. And in all fairness to Shea Moisture, they did issue an apology. They pulled the commercial, and they have, really kind of retracted and I guess considered the way that this commercial impacted its audience. You never really know how something's going to impact an audience.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And I did get a chance to see the commercial yesterday for the first time, and I also read Shea Moisture response. And I think it's just one of the challenges when you're trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like Shea Moisture was trying to be inclusive, but the way that they tried to be inclusive ended up making a lot of people feel exclusive. Yeah. Like they were excluded from the not just their portfolio, but excluded from their products when they're the ones who mainly use the products. So I understand it, but I really don't think, as you stated, that Shea Moisture did that intentionally. Right. It's just sometimes we can be so creative with marketing until we kind of outsmart or outthink ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that another thing is that black women, felt like they were not included in the conversation about hair hate, which is a really important conversation, for black women to have. And so I totally understand that. And so I think that this might be an opportunity now to have those conversations. And I'm not sure, you said you read the statement by Shea Moisture.
Yes, I read the statement. I would have to admit that I briefly read the statement.
Okay.
Someone sent it to me on my iPhone, and I looked at it very quickly. But just even with the choice of words, like you mentioned, hair hate, I always feel like we need to kind of turn the words around into something positive. Hate is such a strong word, and it doesn't really make you feel good. Although the message I feel like they were trying to relay is it's okay with loving your hair.
Right.
It's your prerogative to wear it however you choose. If you want to be straight, naturally straight, just blow dry your natural hair out of thermal style. If you want to relax, or if you want locks, you want twist. But sometimes when you choose certain words to say, stop worrying about what other people think about your hair or how you want to wear your hair. You may choose the word that take them from the direction that you wanted them to go and remind them of an area or a time which was very painful.
Yeah.
Because we can remember all of those, plus I don't want to say a certain age, but I think all of us can remember a time where we couldn't wear twists or locks without being judged. I believe that we all are very comfortable now with wearing our hair in the way that we choose to. And so I think we have opportunity to soften the words. I always like to look at it as, the beauty in feeling good.
I like
to
that.
me. And that's the direction that Moistura Silk is going in, and that's the reason why I want to do it. I had wanted to kind of sit back and look at everything that was going on within the industry, and to include, the need gaps that have been met, the need gaps that are still unmet, how we like to feel as individuals, because of course I'm a woman that also use hair care products, but just get a little bit more intimate. It's more from even a psychographic, I like to say, point of view, because it is personal. When you have a bad hair day, you feel bad. When you have a good hair day, you feel good.
Right.
So we don't have to use the same words that we used to use a long time ago.
Yeah. And I wonder if that was something that they were aware of, it being a soft spot and something that was used a long time ago, and so it's market research is important. The other thing is I see this as an attempt to try to do the same kind of campaign that Dove has done with women and appreciating their bodies, and it seems like the equivalent to hair. We want you to love your hair. We want you to embrace your hair, in the same sense that Dove wants women to love and embrace their bodies, the whole underwear campaign, if you recall that. The only thing about that, though, here's where marketing is so funny because it contradicts itself, is that Dove is the same company that makes the Axe, what is that called, like body sprays for men, and it is a totally different message for men. It's a very over sexualized, look at my big buff body type campaign.
You're right. Marketing research again, because a lot of companies, what they would do is do the marketing research based on their target consumer. So if that research for that target consumer comes back and shows that, sexuality is how you get the message across, because I don't think the company is trying to sell sexuality, but they're trying to get their target consumer attention. And so
they have without maybe even realizing it, they have a contradicting message that they're sending to men and that they're sending to women. But it's marketing.
It's marketing, yeah.
So, I just have to point out for Shea Moisture, they stand for inclusively exclusive, modern wisdom, sensory solutions, and cultures cultivated. So their commitment seems to be global and universal in nature, and so so it seems that they're trying to really live that out by including other cultures. So
it was a mistake, and I'm happy that they apologized for it and move forward. I don't think it'll happen again.
It probably won't happen again. No, I'm not telling y'all what to do about it. I'm not telling you to support or not support. I'm just giving you the information.
I don't think it'll happen again.
We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking hair care, women in science, and I'm joined by Angela Ellington, and we're learning about how she developed her company. She is the CEO of RTG Research Laboratories, and they are the manufacturer for Moistura Silk hair care brand. And I was asking you earlier how you got into this industry, and forgive me if I keep digging because it's such a fascinating concept. Because when I was in school, you hear about the standard, engineering, science. I was a journalism major, but I really didn't know about, I guess, the depth of what you can do with science.
Yes. No, I agree. And to be honest, sometimes we get, so involved in our careers until I even forgot, that it really isn't as well known, especially, I would say, in the southern states.
Okay.
Because
and by it, you mean cosmetic science?
Yes,
for those who are
cosmetic
just
science.
Yes.
Yes, because in New Jersey, New York area, you already have colleges there that start in the foundation, like Fairleigh Dickinson have a master's in cosmetic science.
Okay.
So anytime the colleges within the area have a major there related to cosmetic science, then of course the entire area appears or tends to be more aware or knowledgeable about it.
Right.
But you're correct, because I attended Spelman College, and science, your options was pre-med, or if you were going to go into academics, be a professor, or do a program with Georgia Tech for engineering. So you really didn't learn a lot about cosmetic science. And I will have to say, even since I've been back in Atlanta, I've had a lot of students come up to me and express interest in understanding how do you get into cosmetic science. So much to the point where I created a Women in Science, and we're going to have our first talk with college students on August 19th at Georgia Tech with the Women in STEAM. They're going to be hosting it. But to answer the question, really, is any of the science disciplines. I had managed a group for L'Oreal that was responsible for all of their ethnic research innovation, and that team was very diverse with their science disciplines. Biology majors, chemistry major, physics major, biochem, engineering. I mean, any of the science disciplines that you would normally go to college for. It's just more so making certain that they are aware of these career choices and begin to apply them best during their college as internships. And then, of course, they can afterwards, because I did not get indicted into this until after I graduated and decided it wasn't going to be med school, because I want to feel good. You should feel good and be happy.
Yeah.
You should follow your passion. It shouldn't just be a job based on income, because I truly believe
or what your parents want you to do. You
exactly, exactly. Although it is interesting that I really didn't free myself from it until my mother was like, "It's okay, not to be a doctor," and she wasn't that type of a parent, but still, just that sense of endorsement and support that you look for from your parents.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So I'm curious. We have to get into the research, but I'm curious to know more about what you're doing at the higher education level, because that's that's pretty huge. So we're going to talk about that, but first we're going to look at the research.
In the interest of science.
Okay, so this theory that I'm going to point out to you is Bandura's social learning theory, and I think that for those of you who are in the social sciences and psychology, you're probably familiar with this theory, but I'm bringing it up because it to me it's very reflective of how somebody decides what field they want to get into. And so, how does a woman, for example, decide, I'm going to go ahead and get into the sciences and the math and, and those areas that women have traditionally been deterred from going into. And so, basically what social learning theory is that people learn through observing others' behaviors, attitudes, and outcomes of those behaviors. Bandura says most human behavior is learned observationally through modeling. From observing others, one forms an idea of how new behaviors are performed, and on later occasions, this coded information serves as a guide for action. So what this essentially is saying is we learn by what we are affirmed, by what we've been told is good and is okay. We learn by watching other people do other things. So in terms of getting young women, so I have a daughter who's actually 10 years old today. Happy birthday, Joya. And from her experience, if I use her as an example, she's excellent with math. I'm not so much, but she's excellent with math. And we encourage that. So anytime she does anything really well, we give her praise for it. If she's struggling in that particular area in math or science, we affirm her and say, but you're so smart, we know you can get this. And that's a form of social learning. We're teaching her that this is a field that you can totally get into and excel in. Now, if it was the opposite, if we just said, you probably should just focus on the arts, which she's also really good at, or, just go that way, and there's girls really don't do this kind of thing. This is social learning. We're teaching her, and it's also in terms of the praise versus what gets praised versus what gets chastised. They learn that if they are chastised for a certain thing, I'm not going to go in that direction. If they're praised for a certain thing, they're going to go into that direction. So that's essentially social learning theory. We have to go to break, but associated with that, I'm definitely going to want to find out how social learning theory played out in your decision to move forward into the sciences. Okay. So we'll be right back.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Hey guys, it's your girl Brenna B. I want to tell you about something pretty amazing. My friends over at Buckhead Laser Lipo have an option for you. You want to lose those inches? You want to get in shape? Spring is here. Summer is upon us. We have a way for you to lose those inches quickly. Immediately see results. $99 is your first treatment. No surgery, no pain, no downtime, just inch loss. Who doesn't want to be in shape for the summer? Buckhead Laser Lipo, 678-871-0097.
BuckheadLaserLipo.com. Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about cosmetic science, which I really love. And we're joined by Angela Ellington, who is the CEO of RTG Research Laboratories. They're the manufacturer for Moistura Silk, hair care, and we're learning about this company, but I'm really wanting to learn about Angela and how she even got into this, and then this is going to evolve into the field and all of that. So, but I just talked about Bandura's social learning theory, and the question I have to ask you is based on that theory, which is that people learn and they respond to their environment in terms of what they're going to continue to do and what they're going to stop doing. How does that inform, or how did it inform your decision to go into the sciences? I wanted to say thank you for the explanation of the theory, because it simplified it for me now. I always know what I experienced, but I never really, tagged it or identified it. So it definitely is very helpful. I love it. So I always loved math and science, and I was always praised for math and science, either by my mother or by my teachers. It was always something that I could do very, very quick and was very good at it. And so I knew that I wanted to have a career in science. I didn't know it was cosmetic science again. I really thought it was going to be pre-med, but because, again, it's a balance between academics and emotions and your passion for it, we realized it may not have been the healthier decision for me. So I can definitely see how the support and the praise in something that you can tend to gravitate to, because I wasn't told that, oh, you need to go into science or math because that's where the high-end paying salaries are. It was from a very young age, as I can remember, even just beginning to do math. It was something that I was always very excited about, something that came so easy to me when it was time to get the homework or test. It was very, very easy. So I think you don't call that passion at that point, but it is something that you're very much interested in, like and gift. As a result, yes, and I always call it gift, and it's ironic because they call the classes gifted classes. That's too, true. When you had to test into, and I always test the highest there, in science and math. I love it. Wow. Gosh. Yeah. I did that in writing. That was my writing, and language arts was my strength. Those was not and mine. And it's funny because I hear a lot of stories about how it's one or the other. It's one or the other. And I have to brag about my daughter, but she's both. She's like ambidextrous in terms of the math and sciences and the arts. And so who knows which direction she'll go. I mean, she loves dance, she loves math, who knows. But what I love about what you're doing is that you're showing an option to young women that didn't know that option was there, and that is the field of cosmetic science. So the work that you're doing at on different college campuses, you said you're speaking at Georgia Tech, and you're doing another program. Where was that? Yes. Well, the Georgia Tech is going to be the first event, but we want to definitely broaden it because we want to actually reach out and support and bring awareness to as many women as we possibly can. So even with the event at Georgia Tech, it's going to be Facebook Live. And we're going to do some satellites with some other colleges. We've already identified Chicago State University as being one of the others. And it won't be me by myself. What I wanted to do is to get together with other science women who are entrepreneurs, because I feel like when you become an entrepreneur, the hats are off. I mean, you're totally free. You're at peace to speak on subject matters. Without worried about the politics. Exactly. Absolutely. You're free. I am totally peace now. And so I partnered with 4 other dynamic women in the field of science because I wanted to show the various areas in which you could impact cosmetic science and not just be, or not have to be the formulator or the chemist who's making the product. Now, for me, I started my career definitely making the product. I love developing and but then I've also partnered with some great women. That one is a computer science major, and actually her name is Candace Mitchell with Mayavana, and so she created the first app to do personalized hair care recommendation, and she tests hair fibers,
And then there's Dr. Victoria Barbosa. She's a dermatologist, but she was also a senior vice president at L'Oreal for the advanced hair care research.
Wow.
And Dr. Crystal Porter, she started her own business in Maine Insight, and she works very closely with universities to actually mentor and train their students on the instrumental evaluation for hair and skin. And then Kat Peeler started her own raw material company after heading up Fruit Teeth, which was the largest brand for L'Oreal in marketing, and she was an engineer.
Wow.
And so very diverse group of women, all entrepreneurs, all took different paths and making a big impact on the cosmetic industry.
And these are your panelists for?
These are my panelists who's going to join me. Yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. I might have to be at this event.
Yes. Yes, please.
All right. I got a million more questions, and I haven't even got to the ones that I'm supposed to ask. So
that's how it always
we'll
goes.
Right back.
That's okay.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Station. Let me know, man. It works. I'm impressed.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about hair. We're talking about a lot of stuff. So, but we're talking about what is the field again? It just left me. Cosmetic science. We're talking about cosmetic science. RTG Research Laboratories. Angela Ellison is here. Ellington is here representing her company. She is the CEO of that company, and they are the manufacturer of Moistura Silk hair care brand. And it's so fascinating to me because I promise you this is something I never, ever thought about. What happens behind the scenes? Who are the people behind these products? You know, who thinks of the ingredients that go into hair? It's just one of the things we take for granted, and we just, you know, put it on there and we're good. Yes. And so before the break, you were talking about some of the movers and shakers in the industry who are going to be at the panel at Georgia Tech.
Yes.
And this is in August 19th?
August 19th.
And so some really innovative women, and I can't help but to say that this is really reminding me of Madam C.J. Walker.
To inspire us all.
Yes. Yes, because she was, is it safe to say the first or among the first? She was definitely the first to make millionaire status as a black woman doing this hair care industry. And she started off knocking on doors, being very face-to-face, making sure word of mouth that you all know about my products. Customer service was of utmost priority for her. So she was an entrepreneur who was not only developing the products, but she was also delivering the products and working with the community, and just doing a lot of innovative work to strengthen women in general, really.
Yes, and I think it's a must. It's a must. I'm a firm believer, too, whose much is given, much is expected. And I think that it should be something that you want to do, you strive to do. And it is a point of difference for me between my company and a much larger company. Again, we were talking about hats off. I mean, I can go to the campuses anytime I want. I can go to inner city anytime I want to reach out and just bring awareness. It's not all the time about offering a class or saying you must attend, a specific event. A lot of times it's just meeting people where they are. And so I am very much looking forward to doing this exactly just what I stated.
Right.
Now, I haven't been back in the Atlanta area for quite some time, and so I use GPS. Thank God for GPS, right?
Yes.
So I'm making my way around because I really, really want to make certain that part of our initiative is not just to sell the product, but to make certain that we empower young women. We always talk about empowering women, but I think we have to do exactly as you were stating earlier on, give the praises, give the support at a younger age so they can be more solid, in their choices as they continue, to grow and develop their own career path.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned young women, because I can imagine how powerful this could be for somebody, again, I'll bring up my daughter again, 10 years old, who, what they're told is doctor, lawyer, blah, blah, blah. They don't hear about cosmetic science. And I think that's something she could be very fascinated by.
Yes.
So we have to go to the balance challenge. So I'm going to hold this question.
I have the answer. I know where you're going, and it is in progress.
Okay, all right. We're going to get into the balance challenge.
Okay. Your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's balance challenge is I want you to inspire a young woman in your life. So there are a lot of fields that are out there, and I know that a lot of us have a young lady in our life that we can motivate, that we can inspire, that we can give more information to, and I want you to help them think beyond the traditional careers that we have all been, that are very familiar to us. There is this field of cosmetic science. If you know a young lady who you think might really do well in this field, I challenge you to introduce it to her. If that's not her area, I challenge you to introduce her to an area that you think reflects her strengths. So we are going to exercise Bandura's social learning theory from the standpoint of encouraging and teaching them about what it is they are capable of doing. So this week, I wanted you to pick a young lady, pick her out. You can choose my daughter too, but I want you to pick her out, pick a young lady out, and encourage her and help her to see how whatever her strengths are can be translated into some kind of awesome career. That's it. We'll be right back.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hey guys, it's your girl Brenna B. I want to tell you about something pretty amazing. My friends over at Buckhead Laser Lipo have an option for you. You want to lose those inches, you want to get in shape, spring is here, summer is upon us. We have a way for you to lose those inches quickly. Immediately see results. $99 is your first treatment. No surgery, no pain, no downtime, just inch loss. Who doesn't want to be in shape for the summer? Buckhead Laser Lipo, 678-871-0097.
BuckheadLaserLipo.com.
Great leaders aren't born, They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about cosmetic science. And I was just asking Angela Ellington, who is here, and I was just asking you about the initiatives that may be underway for young girls to get them aware of cosmetic science. Do you have anything in the works on that?
Yes, definitely. I wanted to interact with the young girls starting, I would say, at age 8.
Okay.
So your daughter,
Yes.
fine. And just to begin to teach them things that are quite familiar to them, but they never thought of it from a science point of view. And I always give them the example of salad dressing, where you have all in vinegar salad dressing. You shake it up and it all comes together. You let it sit and you see the two different phases. So just starting out learning that there's an all phase that's not soluble in water, and then water is not soluble in all. But then when you add a surfactant, we call it non-ionic surfactant, that has an all-loving part and a water-loving part, guess what? It can hold it together. So you would no longer have to shake it to keep it together, because when you shake, staying together is only temporary.
Yes.
And so I like to use food items and things. Apply in all aspects of life. And so there are things that can glue you together, like as things glue each other's things together so that you will not have separation. And that is true. No one likes to buy a product and it's product separation.
Yeah.
So instead of start speaking intensively into organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry, you start with things that is applicable to that age group. And we know young kids definitely love to eat. Older kids and older women love to eat, so that's something else I'm working on as well. But it's something familiar with them, and it'd be easy to understand. So I'm looking forward to making like shampoos, playing with fun colors, like a lot of these fun colors that you see on young girls' hair. If they look at those ingredients and compare some of them to technology or ingredients in Kool-Aid,
because they are in the kitchen mixing
yes,
and all of that.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Fun as far as teaching the basics behind, what it takes to put a product together and apply it to something that's familiar to them. Because that's to me, the best way to teach someone something is to, again, meet them where they are and have it correlate to something that they are familiar with.
The big thing right now is slime. I don't know if you've heard of that right now. The kids are all wanting to know how to make slime. They're Googling it, they're Yahooing it, and I don't understand the craze about it, but they love it. And right now there's this, they're using a dangerous product like borax, and but there's been a growing number of pages and tutorials about how to make safe slime and how to make even edible slime. And so I don't know if it's just the age range, but it's big.
Well, if they're looking for slime as far as texture, there is something where there are ingredients that you can use in food that would give you that texture. And if we think about it, we have products. Think of Jell-O. A Jell-O, right, is very firm.
Yes.
But there's a gap between the firmness of Jell-O and then when you first start making it, and it's pretty much the consistency of water. So there's certain gums that we even use in food that will create these variations of texture. So all of this will be included in the fun camp.
So
it's going to be a fun camp.
I was going to say this has to be a camp because
yes, it's going to be a fun camp.
I love it. This is so fun. I want to be in the camp.
Mothers and parents will be welcome to come and observe.
That is so awesome. Well, one of the things that I'm also, you mentioned earlier that you started off working with L'Oreal, and so what exactly did you do when you were there? So you started off doing what, and then how did that evolve into a career?
Well, my first job was actually, I always like to break it up. The first job was with Dark and Lovely.
Okay.
I always include all of it with L'Oreal because L'Oreal acquired Carson Products, which was the manufacturer of Dark and Lovely.
Right.
So I started in Savannah, Georgia in quality control, so testing all the raw materials, doing microbiology. Wow. And then I started making products, actually the chemist developing the product. And so when L'Oreal acquired Carson, I was director of research and development, and I moved to Chicago to be the director of their ethnic research and innovation. Okay. And then I was promoted to assistant vice president of research and innovation, where I spearheaded a lot of the innovation globally for their conglomerate in Europe and Africa and Brazil and all of North America. So a huge opportunity and experience. But I have to admit, it was life-changing events that occurred that made me revisit and stop and think, okay, how you started. Now what do you want the end to look like?
Wow.
And so it really, and I don't know if I would have ever gotten there without those life-changing events. Sometimes we get very comfortable with our career and things that's going on, and you need some things to shake up a little bit, and you sit down and you kind of revisit where do you want to go in life. So I always tell young people, even when you have that great career, I mean, life is a continuous journey. It doesn't stop when you land what you believe is that perfect job. And I always tell everyone that, L'Oreal is a great company to work for. I have no regrets there. But I knew what my purpose was and what I needed to do, and I needed to have full autonomy to do so, and here I am.
So, and you don't have to give, details, but the life-changing events, were those just within your own personal life, or was that also connected to your career?
He hit me both ways.
Okay.
The first one was definitely personal. Okay. It was the loss of my husband from cancer, and we found out in June, and he passed away in August. Okay. And so that was very, very devastating. We've been married over 25 years. Yeah. I often don't tell this secret, but I'd like to share because someone else maybe experienced this. He was my first and only boyfriend, so my confidant, a lifelong partner. Yeah. And so that shook me up, but I had a lot of support within my family at L'Oreal, and of course my family. And so I still was there, staying front center, God's my strength, keep it moving. And then the company made a decision that, okay, we're going to move the team that I led in Chicago to New Jersey. And I'm like, okay, now wait a minute. Now this is a lot going on. Yeah. And so it was very difficult for me not to decide to move because I'm very passionate about what I do. I had the impact to affect so many people, traveling, worldwide, and having access to so much of research, new molecules, the greatest technology. But when I stopped and I reflected everything, so sometimes we have to do that self-check, that self-evaluation. I knew what the calling was for the latter part of my years. And it wasn't so much about me at that point. It was about what I was going to do for others, and more specifically, as I was speaking of young women and women in science, and then also about really getting intimate with the consumer, not just giving a product for a styling versatility or the look, but that actual feel, the hair. Like I say, that good hair day, that beauty and feeling good.
Okay, wow. So it's like you not that you weren't in purpose while you were there, but you were really building it. It's all, our whole life is a process of building.
Exactly.
And this was kind of the opportunity to step in fully into your
Exactly.
purpose.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I do believe that everything that I experienced, it was for a reason. And that journey to include L'Oreal was very vital for me to be where I am, today.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting because there are those most difficult moments in our lives are those moments that, can project us into our purpose or have a spiral downward, and those are such critical moments. And so it looks like you went forward.
I went forward. It had me go forward, and I'm happy to be in this place.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get into Love Notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this love note comes from a California mom. She says there is a debate out there about natural hair versus straight hair, which I'm very familiar with this debate. My mother permed my hair at a young age, and I have decided not to perm my daughter's hair so that she can decide. I do want to raise my daughter to love herself, and I want to raise my son to embrace and love women of all hair types. How do I raise them with how do I raise them consciously with respect for both hair types? So that's an interesting question.
That is an interesting question. I think, though, it comes from, I think a good approach is to continue to do what she's doing, because it sounds like she's doing a great job. But for me, beauty is from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So getting them comfortable with who they are as an individual. Yes, we wear our hair. We often say our hair is our crown. Mm-hmm. But our hair doesn't determine who we are as a person. Exactly. I am not my hair. Mm-hmm. Believe me, because I still love myself even on a bad hair day, but I still feel good.
That's a good point.
And so I think just continue to support and to help them develop and grow into who they are as a person, and then it's going to make their choices less stressful, and actually less meaningful when it comes to how you want to wear your hair. I like to go back and forth. I may want to wear it straight sometime, the other time I may want to wear it curly. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's nothing that differentiate whether there's a right or wrong there, as long as I'm feeling good within.
Right, that's really good. I think this has been kind of a debate that has gone on for quite some time, and I agree with what you're saying, that it seems, I like that she has kind of pulled back and hasn't done any permanent anything to her daughter's hair, and allow her to get to an age where she can decide, do I want to put a perm on it or do I not, or do I want locks, or do I want, just to have a really short cut. I mean, so I think, like you said, the importance is setting that foundation. What's the basis? Does she have a strong sense of self outside of her hair? And then when she makes a decision about her hair, it'll be based on a positive sense of self, ideally. And her son, I think it was interesting that she brought up her son, because men have some really strong feelings about what women do to their hair.
That is true. That is true.
I had two ladies on the show a few weeks ago who focus on natural hair. One of them strictly works with locks, and the other is more natural hair in general. And they both talked about how husbands have been, literally angry, how marriages have declined after a woman has decided to lock her hair.
I can see that, because it goes back to what you were speaking of earlier. I mean, what's familiar to them? What did they see growing up? I mean, we saw and was all inspired by when we saw women with long, hair.
Yes,
everybody. That's why you had all the hair products. Well, I will grow your hair, really quick, because you felt like you had to have that to be beautiful or to be on top.
Right. Absolutely. So I think in terms of raising your son, I think you want to raise him with the same mindset that we talked about with your daughter.
Yes.
In terms of having a positive sense of self and really focusing in on what's on the inside, and how does that reflect who you are on the outside. There does have to be some continuity there between who you are on the inside and who you are on the outside.
Yes.
Takes us a while to get
agree.
there. We're not all, it's a journey.
Yes. A continuous journey.
It's a continuous journey. But it is definitely something that we have to strive for.
Yeah.
So, are we going to break or no? Oh, okay, no. I just had to double check because I thought I heard music in my ear.
Okay.
But I really want to know. Tell us about Moistura Silk. What is this company? What are you all about?
Okay.
Who are you?
Yes. Well, it's a newly formed brand, but Moistura Silk was created because I wanted to bring a sensorial approach to hair care, so that consumers can have that uncompromised look and feel of hair, because it goes back then from connecting the outer with their inner. And I often observe over years where we were trying to educate consumers about certain ingredients that are very good for the hair. And there are ingredients that make a significant difference to hair as it relates to being dry, brittle, porosity. But a lot of times the consumers don't have the opportunity to capitalize on that advantage because they just don't like the way it feels. The hair experience is very personal for us. And so I wanted to create something, and I felt like I was in a good position to do it because not only do I own the company, but I'm a chemist by trade. So who can tell me that I can, as long as I'm following all of the guidelines for a safe quality product, in which that's not an option not to.
Right.
So you're creating that balance where you have this uncompromised look and feel of hair, independent of what that look is. So we support styling versatility as well. So Moistura Silk is a sensorial approach to hair care for multicultural women with all hair types.
Wow, that's so interesting. So when you say a sensory experience, this means that I like the touch of the product, I like the touch of my hair. Is it both?
Yes, yes, because we want to create some. And it's not so much that you have to make 100% change to a texture of a product just to change the feel. And it's interesting because I'm saying feel because the product that I'm speaking of is called Feel. It's called Feel Smooth Finish Glaze.
Oh, wow.
And there are similar technologies that are on the market, but they are not engineered in the sense where they have more of a butter feel to the touch. And then they leave a smoother feel to the hair. So again, it's knowing how to interact those ingredients to create the right balance to get the touch product and the touch of the hair.
Wow, that is so fascinating. Does the sensory also include smell?
Yes, it's actually smell, feel, and see it. We actually say that smell, see, feel it, or touch and feel the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, fascinating. All right, stay with us and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are at the top of the second hour. We've been here talking some really good, interesting stuff. I'm joined by Angela Ellington, and she is the CEO of RTG Research Laboratories, and this is the manufacturer for Moistura Silk hair care brand. So lots of great dialogue here. Also looking at the field of cosmetic science and getting women into sciences and encouraging them in the sciences. So we're really looking at now the hair care line from the standpoint of it being a sensory experience, which I really love.
Yes.
There's a very unique angle to take, but it's so important because the first thing I do, whether people like it or not, in the store, I'll open it up and smell it.
Yes. I think we all are guilty of that one.
Yes, and so I want to make sure, I'm going to actually like this stuff, when I try it. We love samples, we love the opportunity to see how it feels, to experience it before, because that is an important part of decision making.
Yes, and it's also important, too, that we recognize and respect that each person doesn't like the same feel of hair. And it was something that I really had to not do more market research, but kind of just immerse myself in the midst of speaking with consumers directly or evaluating products on hair to kind of get a better understanding and speaking with them during that evaluation. Because I always give an example where everyone wants their hair to feel, smooth and conditioning. No one wants dry, brittle hair.
Right.
But what does that really mean? To someone, that smooth, conditioning feel may equate to the feel of cotton. For someone else, it can equate to the feel of silk.
I can see that.
Now, they're both are soft, but they're definitely not the same feel.
Absolutely.
And so what we wanted to do is make certain that you can, customize to create your, not only just your look, what you can do with a lot of products that they now refer that process as cocktailing. So now you're not just cocktailing for a look, you can also cocktail for a feel.
Wow.
And so it's just a very interesting approach. We're very excited, very, very good feedback, and I'm looking forward to move forward with the next phases. We started with styling because styling is still the category which is most unique to the individual, because it's going to create your look, whether you want to lock, twist, or you want to wear it straight. And then the second phase, which will be coming in this year, will be shampoo and conditioning. We follow successful business modules that kind of show that styling kind of leads the consumer to your shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, and then of course, hair color is the next. By being the chemist who was responsible when we were at Carson for Dark and Lovely hair color, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into hair color as well. But that would be the third phase.
So this is a complete line. This is.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
So, there's one thing with the commercials. We see, commercials with this, perfect hair, long flowing hair, whatever the perfect afro, the perfect color, the perfect this, the perfect that. How much of that is real? In terms of, are we being fooled? Is there an illusion when we see these hair commercials and they have this perfect hair? Do the products actually do that?
Well, first I'm going to say, to me, perfect is very subjective.
True. This is true.
It's very subjective. But regarding those hairstyles, I've had the opportunity to be on live set, and actually we did a photo shoot ourselves. And so, the styles, the product actually did create those styles. Now, am I saying that everyone have the same code of ethics and the products always create the style?
Right.
No, but that applies to any and all businesses. But for the most part, in my experience, the product has been used to create the style. With that being said, it's a trained photo shoot, and so you have very, very good stylists who are doing this hair. Now, I can't do my hair like my stylist can, and I'm the chemist to make the product. So sometimes it is that technique.
Right.
And so that's another opportunity to share the techniques. And that's why I love to get the look videos, because it's not just showing the product, but it's also showing the process that's required to achieve the style.
So it's a partnership. I mean,
it's a partnership.
Oh, I love it.
Everything is. It keeps going back to that partnership.
Yes, it does.
Right? Yes.
All right, stay with us and we'll be right back.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to say.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Black's trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. Trending topics. Okay, so I haven't talked about 45 in a minute because he's not my favorite person in the world, but I have to bring this one up. So he has, if you guys don't know who 45 is, just go look it up. But
I think I know.
Yes, I still can't. I can't. But as you know, during the campaign, he was very big on, we're getting out of NAFTA. We're getting out of NAFTA. And for those of you who aren't familiar with NAFTA, it's the national, the North American Free Trade Agreement with Mexico and Canada. So it's that idea that we can trade, with industry with these two. We're on the same continent. So he was going to get rid of it. That was his big thing. Well, as it turns out, according to USA Today, U.S. will not withdraw from NAFTA. Surprise, surprise. Because maybe it just wasn't a good idea.
I concur.
And so, and it's interesting, I know that I need to be more diligent about paying attention to what's going on, but in the last few months for me, it's just been a matter of self-care. I just need to take care of myself. And so I have been kind of head to the ground, focusing in on my business, on my career, on my kids. And I really haven't, even though the show is Love, Politics, Intellect, I really haven't delved into the politics as it pertains to what's happening in the White House. So I've been focusing more on social justice policies or local policies and, things like that. So, but I had to bring this one up because this is a pretty big one. And for those of us who are involved in business in any way, shape, or form, this is something that we definitely want to know about because, if you were interested in doing business with Mexico and Canada, there may have been a concern about whether or not that would continue to be free trade, if we would be a part of that. But it looks like that is actually not going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm happy about that. I haven't been paying close attention to it as well, because as you stated, it's more self-preservation and then starting at home with grassroots initiative and making certain that I can do my part to support Atlanta as Atlanta supports me.
Yes.
But it is extremely important because a lot of hair care products are sold in Canada. As well as Mexico, especially when you're speaking of, multicultural products and being more inclusive.
Absolutely.
So I'm very happy to hear that is not happening.
Yeah, and a lot of us doubted that it would happen, but and in a statement, he says, "It is my privilege to bring NAFTA up to date through renegotiation." So looking more to update some of the things that may need to be changed. It is also an honor to deal with both President Peña Nieto and Prime Minister Trudeau, and I believe that the end result will make all three countries stronger and better. Yeah, I mean, there's not much that I agree with on this one, but on this guy, but I agree with that. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yes.
We will see. But I think that that is a wise decision. But I think we all kind of knew that ending the agreement probably wasn't the best way to go in the first place. Yeah. The other trending topic is this is an interesting one because just a few weeks ago, United Airlines was under fire for the way that they dragged this man off of the flight. Simply only because he didn't want to give up his seat, because they were overbooked. I mean, the whole concept is just baffling to me. I can't understand it. But what United has done is they have come back and they now offer passengers up to $10,000 to surrender seats. So should they be in a position where they are overbooked and they need passengers to leave and give up their seats, they will offer them up to $10,000.
$10,000 or 10,000 points?
$10,000. That is a dollar sign. I had to double check myself. Like, wait a minute, $10,000. The offer came after Delta outlined plans to offer up to $99.50. In such cases, they said we're gonna do you better by $50.
Wow.
So. If you're really lucky, and so United wants people to come back. People at Southwest. I just got an email from Southwest today saying if you want to cancel your United ticket, we will pay you $150 to fly with us instead of United. Which is, it's so funny how they're competing right now.
Yeah.
So United is trying to get their clients back or their customer base back. They must have taken a major hit to be offering $10,000 to surrender seats.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I know just like with most events and things that you plan, if the capacity is 100 people, then a lot of times you would schedule or accept over 100 just to make certain you get close to 100.
Right.
So I can imagine that that's what they're trying to do. The objective is to always fill that plane. But to me, it's not a good resolution to how you address it when you need 100 and you have all 100.
Right.
Now what do you do?
Right.
Because a lot of times people are flying out for a specific reason that happened for a situation that has to happen for a specific time. Yes. So everyone is not going just to visit, a relative or a loved one where they may have that flexibility.
Right.
So it could be that could be very frustrating. I'm interested to see how they work through that.
Yeah, because you're right. There are some people who would not accept the $10,000. I need to be on this flight.
I have no choice.
I, on the other hand, I'm probably on there because I'm going on a cruise or to Florida or something.
Yes, that's nice.
I'm out. Give me the 10. Yeah. But and the key word here is up to $10,000. So
that's another question, because that up to 10,000, if that's for all of United or for everyone on that flight, and with the ticket prices being what they are right now,
right?
Again, what percentage are they overbooking? So it kind of goes back to, I'm curious to the percent that in which they overbook.
Yeah, that's
pretty certain they calculated it, and that's how they came up with that number that would equate to a ticket, maybe even a one-way ticket. But the amount that they give, like saying up to 10,000, seems like a relatively large amount when you think about it in general, but it probably is very small because they know that they've overbooked 20%. They know each ticket is $200, $250.
They've overcharged what it really takes to fly somebody somewhere.
Exactly.
So interesting. Gotta love the politics of businesses. Gotta love the politics in general.
Yes.
That's why I have my own business. That's probably why you have your own business, so we can just not have to deal with any of that stuff. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player. And that other basketball player.
B. Get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C. Look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D. Show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan? Mom?
Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
In the interest of science. 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 Science, 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 science.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. So science, I love science. I love science. I love social science. And and you love
cosmetic
science. Science rocks.
Yes.
So the social science that I am going to bring to you today is the psychology behind social media interactions. And I think this is really interesting because social media is a new phenomenon in the last decade. I mean, it's existed for a while, but it has really evolved into an entire culture, an entire movement, if you will, of communication that has really changed the way that we interact with each other, has really, I'm sure, changed the composition of our brains, because now we are communicating totally differently than we did in the past. So there's an article here in Psychology Today that I found very fascinating by Laraz Margalit, and PhD, so she's a doctor. And the question posed in this article is, why is digital communication often easier than communicating face-to-face? So this was in 2014, and what's interesting, in only 3 years, I'm definitely seeing a rise in people preferring to communicate via text, as opposed to picking up the phone and calling somebody. And I will admit I am guilty. I am so guilty. I will let my phone ring, and I will let it go to voicemail, and I will and I will text them back, which I know that's so bad. I know it's bad. I know it is. And a lot of times because I'm in the middle of, I know it doesn't make it right, but I'm in the middle of a thought, or I'm in the middle of writing something. I'm in the middle of something that I don't want a phone conversation to interrupt. So it's so easy for me to just pick up the phone, text the response, put the phone back down, get back to what I'm doing. And so we have become a culture that is much more likely to do that and to interact via social media than it is via phone. So Dr. Margalit actually delved into this a little bit to find out why is it that digital communication is so much easier than communication face to face. And one of the things that came out of this is participants had a stronger, this was an actual study done, had a stronger emotional reaction to unfair offers from humans in a face-to-face interaction than the same offers that came from a computer.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that because you read a lot more. You know how they say that body chemistry, or it's not so much you say, but how you look and your body positioning, your demeanor when you say.
Can I trust this person?
Exactly.
Versus something I'm reading that gives me all of the details.
It removes all of the emotional and the personal aspect from it.
And that's exactly what she's saying. And she's saying that, a computer does not require cognitive or emotional involvement, making our interaction with it much easier. So we can go into shutdown mode or in I can't think of the word right now, but we can go into a mode like where we're just running on autopilot. That's what I was thinking. And deal with the computer. When we're interacting with people, we can't really do autopilot without it being noticed.
That is true. Because then it appears to being disrespectful because you need to focus or give them your undivided attention.
Right.
If that's possible.
Right. So if we were, for example, if I was on autopilot with you, you'd be talking, you'd be like, why is this host not responding to what I'm saying? I can tell she's not really here.
Yeah. And it probably would impact my responses. You would still answer the question.
Right.
But it wouldn't be this very good flow of communication because I'm responding to not only what I'm hearing from you, but seeing you, interacting with you.
Exactly. So, that's one of my concerns is what is this doing to our communication skills over time as a generation, particularly the generation that's coming up. And, how does that impact industry? From a marketing standpoint, it's amazing. You get to, your product can be accessible anywhere around the world as a result of social media. But how does this impact, we talked about earlier how Madam C.J. Walker, door-to-door, face-to-face communication, are our young people these days going to be able to do the same kind of thing? Or is it just going to, it's probably going to look different, but will it have the same impact?
It can. I think it's like any tool, it's what you do with it, how you choose to use it, because you can use social media to draw a larger group of that target consumer woman to a specific location.
Right.
So I think at some point you still have to be face to face, like we spoke of Women in Science. We're going to definitely use digital marketing to make certain that we get the young women at Georgia Tech. And so if you use it to achieve still that same objective, to me it's just a easier way based on consumers today interests of communicating to get still to your end point.
Absolutely.
Which is to get them at the location.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a tool, and if we use it to hide, then that's really not going to benefit us,
exactly.
But if we use it as a form of a source of power and growth in what we're doing, then it
would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So with regards to Moistura Silk, tell me about the products that you have. What are some of the, and by the way, you can find these products on moisturasilk.com. That's MOISTURASILK.com. I'll also make sure I post that. So.
Yes, as shared earlier, we definitely wanted to start with styling so that we can create the various styles. And the reason why I wanted to do that, because we want to support relaxed hairstyles as well as natural hairstyles.
So when you say styling, give me some...
So it's after you shampoo, condition, and it's the finished look. So if you are naturally curly and you want to maintain your natural curly look, then we would say embrace. And I chose the name based on how you want to use the product. So it's called embracing your natural curl, but we still want to make certain that you have a good quality of hair, that you have the feel that you desire. Because I constantly share with naturalistas that just because your hair is natural doesn't mean that it's not prone to breakage, especially the curlier your hair is. And so your hair is really curly. It's very important to reduce the degree of friction, because you can take a comb and you go really curly hair and you can just hear it snapping.
Yes.
So embrace allows you to still maintain that curly style, but have it soft, smooth to your desire. And so that's one of the products. That's a styling product. The other product is a feel. I kind of briefly touched on that earlier. What we used if you want to control frizz, have a smooth look ponytail. Someday we just choose to pull it back. You can also use it for that soft twist, because it kind of like butter melts in your hand, and then you can use a twist out, but you can feel the difference on your hair. It doesn't feel real sticky and gluey, and that's why I was sharing earlier, it's not always even the specific ingredient. It's how you use that ingredient.
Okay.
Because you can use too much of something and have, not a good experience, or not enough, and not capitalize on the experience that the ingredient brings. And so it's just, again, the balancing based on your style. And then the other 4 products is a touch. Instead of the keratin treatment using formal, we use a mixture of ingredients that are not formaldehyde ingredients to take your curly hair straight if you want, or if you're relaxed and you're in between relaxers and it's about time for your relaxer, then you can smooth it out with the keratin. And then it's also, and that product is called Touch. And then the other product is Caress, because for me, we like to finish our style, but we want it to last.
Yes.
And we use all of these finishing sprays for anti-frizz or for frizz protection. And the first ingredient in there is water. So now, you have water in your hair absorb all the water, your hair is frizzy. So you're trying, especially if you're natural, you don't want to add water, because it's going to revert back to its natural state. So this is an anhydrous finishing spray that gives you that frizz protection as well as shine. So each product name was carefully thought to describe not only just the end result, but the feeling that you get when you're going through that experience. And all of them are capitalized with that finishing touch that can give you the feel that you want, either by associating it with another product in the line, or just as is.
This is so good. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Green light. Hey girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah. Street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girl in Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born, They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined by Angela Ellington. Yes. A mouthful. With RTG Research Laboratories, and they are the manufacturer for Moistura Silk hair care brand. And she was telling us about the collection of products that they have. And so you've pretty much categorized them in 3 ways, which is styling. What was the other 2?
Yes, the feel of the hair, and always the quality.
And the quality.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I mean the 3 phases of products.
The first phase is styling, which is what we have launched now on e-commerce.
Right.
The second phase would be shampoos and conditioner,
That's
and
right.
then the third phase is hair color.
That's right. That's
color.
right. I'm
Yes.
excited about that.
Yes.
I haven't delved into hair color yet, but I've been thinking about it for the last 15 years.
15 years? Okay.
You think it's time?
Only if you're ready.
Only if you're ready. Yeah. It's a scary step, but I would love to do something at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know about the jump. So the jump from I am working for this amazing company, and now I am going to step out on my own. So I know that life experiences triggered that decision.
Yes.
What was that like when you actually made the jump? Was there a defining moment when you realized I am really doing this?
Yes, when I stopped seeing the paychecks coming in.
That would be, yes, I can
That was
see.
a reality. You are really doing this.
Yeah.
But I have to say, there's been some frightening times in between, with no regrets, though, with no regrets at all.
I love it.
And so it's a matter of, if you know that, it is your next phase of your journey and your purpose, and you believe and have the faith, you know that you're going to get through it. Yes. So although you're going through storms and tribulations, and sometimes they last much longer than we like, you have to stay focused, and you have to work hard, and you have to interact with like-minded people.
That's so important.
And you just got to believe.
Yes.
And keep it moving. Keep it moving.
I love
Don't
it.
stop.
So how would you define or describe your jump? Was it more of a cannonball? Was it a dive? Did somebody push you in?
No one pushed me in, because I tell you, it was the most difficult decision, because L'Oreal didn't make it easy. And so it would have definitely been comfortable. I would have had a comfortable journey if I would have just stayed on the course that I was. But I didn't have that as an option. Once you identify that it's definitely time and you definitely have to do it, you have to jump. And it was almost really feeling like jumping off the cliff as far as the changes in my day-to-day interaction, not in the skill set, because I had established and developed a skill set for almost 3 decades.
Right.
But it was life-changing. I was moving back to Atlanta. I hadn't been to Atlanta since '84. And the city, of course, has changed, yes, a lot. And now, instead of me making the decisions to share and educate a group of like-minded people and know that I have the resources behind me to support it, now you're doing this and you're the sole pretty much proprietary of the resources.
Yes.
And so I think that's probably was the most, the frightening part of it.
Right.
Yes.
That's interesting. I was thinking about that the other day from the standpoint of an entrepreneur, when it's some kind of, I don't know, something happens within the company that you need all hands on deck, and it is urgent, it's crucial. When you're an entrepreneur, those hands might just be yours.
Exactly. The majority of the time, they are yours. I will have to say I've been very, very blessed to have a lot of support from former colleagues who actually took this jump before me. And so they're not doing exactly the same things, but they are in the channel line.
Okay.
And they're in the chain. And so I can call on them like marketing consultants and sales consultants. So all of the areas in which I did not directly focus on at L'Oreal, I have the support of those who did it on that same level. With companies such as L'Oreal, and are now doing it for themselves and started their journey in entrepreneurship before me. And I can call on them and they pick up the phone and vice versa.
Wow. So you don't just text them back.
No, I like to call because I want to hear it in your voice. When you say I really do want to help you,
yes,
I want to make certain you really do want to help me.
Yes. It's almost like this society of people that I didn't even know existed, that that's out there, and they're doing these really amazing things.
They're in Atlanta too.
Wow.
A lot are in Atlanta. Not all. I have good friends still in Chicago and in New York area, but a strong support in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me about your team. Do you have a team, or are you in the lab doing all of these things yourself, or what does it look like right now?
I am in the lab doing most of the things myself right now. Certain things I do outsource because the lab is not set up for the quality and safety testing that I would definitely have to have done.
Yeah,
there's no shortcuts
right.
with me because quality is number one. But as far as making the products and coming up with the formulas, that is all on me.
Ooh, that's a lot of work.
Yes, but for me, that's the easier part.
Okay.
As young people say, that's when I'm in my zone.
Okay.
Because that's my passion and that's what I love to do.
Yeah.
The other part is connecting the dots, which I have a strong team to help me do that. Clinton Gregory is my business development manager. He's been in Atlanta for well over 10 years.
Okay.
So points me in a lot of the great directions, connects me with, like-minded individuals in Atlanta, more specifically other entrepreneurs. One of the reasons why I'm here today and meeting you. So,
awesome.
yes. And then I also have a very strong sales consultant who reside in between Atlanta in Chicago and Chicago. And then I had three marketing consultants between Chicago, Atlanta, and New York.
Okay.
So I connected the dots. Form a strong team, have a strong team as far as packaging. Amazing guy. Did the packaging. Yes, amazing guy. Fluid Content out of Chicago actually did the packaging for me, and I worked with him for the first time. Steve Connors, his name, first time Dark and Lovely, like in 1980 something.
Okay.
So that's why I always tell young people that some of those things that we grew up with, they really are true. Treat people the way you want to be treated, because you never know.
Yeah.
Because when I pick up that phone, these are individuals and entrepreneurs who do work with, Budweiser, Coca-Cola, people whose resources are much bigger than mine.
Right.
But they still did not hesitate, to reach out and provide the support.
I love it. Wow, that's amazing. And so, and one of the great things is I know several people who make products of different types, whether it's lotions or, hair products, whatever it is, and they are looking for manufacturers. So you've just become your own manufacturer.
Yes.
So how did that start? I mean, so you have RTG.
Yes. Research Laboratories.
Yes. And then you have Moistura Hair Silk as a brand.
Yes.
How does that work with these two? Are they separate entities? Or
no, RTG Research Lab is the company.
Got it.
And that company is primary owned. It's a family-owned company. Myself, and then I have two amazing adult children.
Okay.
My son Russell Ellington, and my daughter is Taylor Ellington.
Okay.
And so we're the primary owners of RTG. Now, Moistura Silk is the first brand that we launched under RTG.
Got it.
It's just like, L'Oreal owns Mazzani and other brands.
Okay. So next down the line might be like Dr. Pamela's Face Solutions.
Could be, because we are going to go skin at some point. So, yes.
Okay. So, but that's interesting. I've never really known how these kinds of things are, structured and how they work. So this is good stuff.
Now, with the scaling up of the product, utilize contract manufacturers. Most smaller companies don't have their own contract manufacturing capabilities, but there's plenty. I won't say there are a lot of good ones, so you do have to do your research, but they are, available and an option for you.
Would you adopt another person's product as part of the brand? Is that something that
I don't frown upon it, but as being a chemist, I prefer
your own formulas.
Yeah, my own formulas. But I don't frown upon it because there are some very good contract manufacturers. They have a very good team of scientists, and if they put the work behind it to develop safe, quality products that perform, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But because I have a specific approach and a message, I need to make certain that what's in that bottle is delivering exactly
that makes total
what I'm
sense.
promising.
Yes. Okay. All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the live exchange.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American
Sensation Station Network.
See ya.
All right, welcome back. Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. I'm here with Angela Ellington, who is here with RTG Research Laboratories. Ooh, I did good this time, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And I'm okay with just RTG.
And what does RTG stand for? Should I ask?
Do you want me to check? Oh, of course, I'm going to share. I am going to share. Now, I have been trained to say what is the most politically correct the most of the time. So I can give an answer to what RTG should stand for, but remember we say hats off at peace, we gonna say what it is. Yes. So RTG really is the most dearest and personal thing to my heart, which are my children and my granddaughter. So Russell, Taylor, Giselle.
Oh, I love it.
Now, I've been consulted to say from a business point of view, that's research, technology, greatness. But for hats off, it's Russell, Taylor, Giselle.
Okay. I love it. So we've got the personal and we've got the professional.
Yes.
I love it. So we had a question on Facebook Live that I want to make sure that we addressed, and this is by Paretta Selden Banks, and she's asking, why do you think that we don't own, and by we she means Black, why do you think we don't own shops and beauty supply stores to sell our own hair care products?
And actually, we do. And I had that same question when I moved to Atlanta because I really said I wanted to come back home. I wanted to embrace Atlanta and return. I was hoping that Atlanta would embrace me. And what I searched out for was, where are the Black-owned beauty and barber supply stores? So I had the same question. And not to be, again, in a box saying that that's the only individuals I want to interact with, because it is a multicultural line.
Right.
But to make certain that inclusiveness and make certain that we embrace each other. I believe you put the mask on yourself first before you can put it on someone else.
Yep.
And I did find them. It's a small group. I found 15 Black-owned beauty and
more than I
barber
would have
supply
thought.
store. Yes, in the Atlanta area. So maybe as far as Douglasville, Tucker, Georgia, and everything in the Compile.
Yes.
Yeah, and everything in between. So they are there, but again, even with small businesses, it's pretty much the same. You know, a lot of times it's resources. You have a lot of these chain beauty and barber supply stores that they form pretty much their own like conglomerate, and so they can possibly have better discounts or better interaction because they have more resources.
Yeah.
And
so
yeah.
we'll complain that we're going to the Black-owned store and be like, they cost a lot. They cost so much more.
Yes.
But that's because they don't have access to the bulk or the same.
Yeah, the discounts may not
connections.
quite be the same, and the resources is more than likely not to be the same because they are operating independently opposed to, you know, with a larger group or, you know, a larger distribution channel.
And one thing that I have been, heard, and I don't know how true this is, but the manufacturers, a lot of these products come from Asia, and with there is a lot more connection, camaraderie, from what I understand, between Asian owners and the manufacturers, and that Black-owned owners haven't necessarily broken into that market, or not necessarily a part of that network in the same way, and so the connections and the discounts and all of that kind of thing really is kind of as a result of, you know, who you know, that it's a networking thing.
Yes, it's most things in life. I would say that's even more so true for hair. In which most of the beauty barber supply stores now sell hair. I mean, I haven't seen one to include Black-owned where you walk in and it's not hair there. And so that connection there with Asian distributors is huge. I mean, it's significant, which I was proud to say. I met a young lady at the beauty shop in Tucker, and she has hair, and she has a connection in Asia, and she's also doing a lot of educational things to make certain that she's just not seen as a Black-owned beauty barber supply store that's maybe smaller in size, but she's clearly not smaller as far as her understanding and her initiative to make certain that we continue to progress.
Right. That's good. And one thing I wanted to ask you is the challenges. What kind of challenges does Moistura Silk address? What is it that you're trying to resolve in?
Yes. I always say the main challenge is inclusiveness, and not inclusiveness based on ethnicity here, but the inclusiveness of taking your need gaps. And when I'm speaking of need gaps, I'm speaking of technical hair need gaps, whether it's to address dryness or address breakage or address itchy scalp. Taking and addressing those need gaps and correlating it with the consumer perception of healthy hair, which goes back to what I was stating. With one consumer, you have two consumers. One may say their hair is healthy looking to them or has a healthy feel when it feels like cotton. The other may say this doesn't quite feel like it's in the best condition or quality because it doesn't feel like silk. And for some, it's more of, refer to it as a naked feel or a clean feel. And so the challenge has been that inclusiveness of the consumer perception of what healthy hair feel like. We can tell them what it is all day long, and we can tell them that, of course, you know, we're reducing breakage. We can tell them that one of the biggest challenge, especially for extremely curly hair, is moisturization. However, I must say There's also a challenge for hair that's less curly because of their grooming practices, whether they're using, bleaching preparations or they're perming their hair. So moisturization, the need for moisturization could be prevalent amongst all hair textures. We tend to always just focus on curly. But you need to meet those need gaps and then correlate them with that consumer perception of healthy hair. Once you do that, it goes back to that outer inner experience, connecting that, and then you have what I call a holistic beauty experience, and I keep referencing as, the beauty in feeling good, making feeling good something that's really more tangible, and beauty actually being a part of it.
I love it. I love it. So are you where are you going to be next? Is Georgia Tech the next stop?
Georgia Tech is the more formal stop in August, but throughout the summer. I actually went to the Bronner show to visit. I haven't done trade show because I want to capitalize on the women in science, which is my strength and my strong point, and I want to start reaching people in that manner. But I do appreciate the hair shows and have gone to them quite often. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that 2 hours went really fast.
It really did. I really did enjoy this time.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We are definitely going to have you back. You can wear your holy jeans.
Great. I'm going to be ready. Yes.
This is Angela Ellington of RTG Research Laboratories, the manufacturer for Moistura Silk hair care brand. You can find them at moisturasilk.com. That's MOISTURA silk.com. Check them out. I will post information about it, and this was great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next week on the Live Exchange, where we're going to be talking about careers and employment. Stay with us, or come with us next week. It's your life. Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
See what happens. Sensation Station Network.
It's good. It's good. Rihanna. It's good. Yeah. I know she can't leave me alone. I can't wait to see how low she can go. I love how it looks, but is it good? I can tell she like me cause she dropped it and said, baby, it's good. It's good. It's good. I love how it looks, but is it good? Yeah. Okay. So good. Getting stock hers with a body looking like Miss Parker. That business, my offer. She knock off imposters. You hang me up in your locker. You check me out, you doctor. So fly. Wanna swatter when you spot her. Money team like a cut.